get things started. Ready? Go!
Hello and welcome to Bounding Into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding Into Comics. Today I got a story about the latest sales numbers for DC Comics' new woke Superman series, Superman, Son of Kal-El. And those numbers show that the book is a loser, despite writer Tom Taylor's spurious claims to the contrary. And the book is most definitely woke. In the issue number 5 of the series, they made Superman gay. And then in the upcoming issue number 7, he's going to be a climate change protester. Not only is the book woke, but it has horrible sales numbers, despite Tom Taylor claiming otherwise. Towards the end of January, Taylor took to Twitter to try and deflect from sales data that showed Superman, Son of Kal-El was a sales loser. On Twitter, he posted 15 tweets, beginning with this one. He wrote, "Wow, stick around for the end of this. It's worth it. Today I woke up to piles of strangers in my mentions attacking the sales of Superman, Son of Kal-El issue number 6 and celebrating the failure of our comic." He then wrote, "Now this was pretty confusing. I don't believe a story's worth is measured by its sales, but our Superman is selling pretty well. Issue number 5, where John Kent comes out as bisexual, made the top 10 in comic sales for November." That is true. It was 6th on the top 50 comic books by units chart as compiled by ICV2. It was only behind Venom number 1, Batman number 116, Hulk number 1, Dark Knights of Steel number 1, and Batman number 117. And that place on that 6th spot will be important, as you'll find out later in this video. But moving on, Taylor's desperation to prove the book had good sales even had him quoting outlets who used DC Comics' press release language that the book's 5th issue had, quote, unprecedented sales. But Taylor nor DC Comics have actually shared their numbers, so that is literally just a hype statement without any data to prove it or evidence to actually back up that claim. He tweeted, "I get there are those who want to see this series fail for some pretty obvious and awful reasons, but it's not failing." He then shared a screenshot of a headline that reads, "After coming out as bisexual, Superman comic sees unprecedented sales." Next, he claimed the book sold out. However, this is industry language to try and convince people it had good sales. Of note, Taylor doesn't reveal what selling out means. The book could have had a very small print run before it went to a second issue, and as we'll see, that's very likely the case, that it did have a small print run issue, and that's how it sold out. He wrote, "Far from it. Issues 1 through 4 of Superman, Son of Kal-El all sold out and went back for a second printing. Issue 5 well outsold our first issue, even though our first issue had to be reprinted twice. So what's happening here?" Before we go, I'll tell you what's happening. They literally made Superman gay in issue 5, and that created a spike of people who wanted to get the first issue of Superman being gay, so they bought that out, even though no one actually gives a crap about the actual story that's being told. They just wanted the shock factor and hopefully the idea that that will be a resellable comic in the future. Nevertheless, Taylor then went on to target people reporting on the poor sales of the book's annual issue, which came out in December. He tweeted, "I mean, some guy on YouTube can't be wrong, right?" He then shared a screenshot of the Quarterings video with its headline that says, "New woke Superman totally flops, DC in total collapse after caught," and then it kind of, there's an ellipsis. Taylor then pointed to an Amazon sales chart, which again doesn't actually show how many comics are being sold. He tweeted, "Maybe Superman, Son of Kal-El isn't selling that well after issue 5. That would make perfect sense. Issue 5 made global news." And yet, in the next tweet he said, "A quick glance at Amazon shows 7 issues of Superman, Son of Kal-El are currently in the top 50 of the comics bestseller list. Sales are updated hourly, and we only have 7 issues out. On closer inspection, it also shows my collaborators and I currently have 13 comics in the top 50, which is kind of mind-blowing." Thank you. Again, literally no actual numbers on that Amazon sales chart. He then tried the same trick with Comixology, tweeting, "Maybe we should check how the latest issue is doing on Comixology. Oh, it's in the top 10 alongside some sales juggernauts. I've read a few of these great comics here, and yes, I've read Nightwing." That he is the writer of Nightwing, so it's like a cheeky joke that he's trying to make. But again, literally no sales numbers accompanying this sales chart, so you don't actually know how many of those comics are being sold. He then mocked Cosmic Book News for their accurate reporting of Superman, Son of Kal-El's poor sales numbers by tweeting, "But then how is this true? I'm getting to the best bit, the entire reason for this thread, and oh, it's good." He shared a screenshot of Cosmic Book News' headline that says, "Fans reject woke Superman, DC Comics sales terrifying." Not satisfied with Cosmic Book News, he also went after YouTuber Ryan Kal-El. He tweeted, "Is this not true? Is someone lying on the internet?" He then shared a screenshot of Kal-El's YouTube video. Headline reads, "Superman sales tank as DC Comics keeps failing by pushing identity. And then there's another ellipsis. Taylor then wrote, apparently I'm the one who's lying and manipulating whole sales charts to support my lies or something. That's actually hilarious because it's true. He's the one who is lying and manipulating the sales charts because he doesn't provide any sales data. And he's just like, oh, look, it's in the top 10 here for this 1 hour that I happened to take the screenshot of. So yeah, he's actually admitting it here in this tweet, even though he's, I would assume that he's trying to be sarcastic, even though he's actually telling the truth in this one. He then went after Cosmic Book News again for their accurate reporting. He said, wait, issue number 6 didn't even appear in December's sales. What? He included a screenshot of Cosmic Book News article. It says, oh, look, my prediction was correct. The woke Superman, son of Kal-El, went from number 6 in November to not even appearing in the top 50 in December. That's a drop of thousands of readers. And Taylor, showing that he has absolutely no idea what he's talking about, is tweeting about issue 6. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Taylor is thinking that when CosmicBook.News is reporting that Son of Kal-El went from number 6 in November to not even appearing in the top 50 in December is a reference to issue number 6. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about it being 6th on the sales chart for November. Like, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. His lies are so easy to expose because he's literally he's showing them to us publicly. Like, for some reason, he thinks that because they use number 6 in their, it looks to me like it's a Facebook post, Facebook teaser, that they use number 6, that's referring to Superman, son of Kal-El, number 6, when that's actually referring to number 6 on the sales chart in November. He would then double down on this fictional narrative that he created to virtue signal by coming after us, Bounding Into Comics, reporting on the book's poor sales. He tweeted, okay, accurate physical comic sales to stores are hard to come by, but some good sites do report estimates. Sometimes they're close, sometimes they're off by a lot, but I'm sorry to say this is true, as so many are reporting Superman number 6 didn't sell well in December. And he shared a screenshot of our headline that says, new December comic book sales data appears to show readers are rejecting DC Comics' woke changes to Superman. He then posted his zinger and said, because it didn't come out until January, but if you actually read the article, you would know that we were talking about the annual, which did come out in December and was not on the top 50 unit sales chart. It did make the top 50 comic books by dollars chart. I believe it was on 45th in December. But this whole narrative that Tom Taylor was trying to spin has completely collapsed, as we now have a sales chart data from ICV2 that shows that Superman, son of Kal-El, number 6, barely made it on the unit chart. It was in 42nd place. That's a huge drop from number 6. You would think if the actual book was doing really well, it might still be in the top 10 if it wasn't just purely speculation of people wanting to buy that number 5 issue where they make Superman gay. Not only was it just in 42nd place on the unit chart, it was dead last, 50th on the top 50 comic books by dollars chart. It was clear in January that Taylor's thread was a deflection, given he never showed any numbers, and he didn't know what he was even talking about when he was referencing issue number 6, when CosmicBook.News was talking about 6th spot on the November sales data. It's abundantly clear now. It's likely without another major gimmick like making Superman gay, which again is what they did in Superman, son of Kal-El, number 5, that the book will fall off the charts in February. Now they do have another gimmick coming out for issue 7, and that's Superman as a climate change protester. I don't know how big of a gimmick that is compared to making Superman gay. We'll see what the speculators do, but it looks like Superman, son of Kal-El, number 5's entire sales was due to that gimmick. What this proves is that DC Comics and Marvel Comics are not in good shape, despite what people like Taylor will try and convey. DC Comics publisher Jim Lee even admitted a significant portion of their publishing line was losing money. Lee revealed that in a 2020 interview. He said, that said, we will be reducing the size of the slate, but it's about looking at everything and looking at the bottom 20%, 25% of the line that wasn't breaking even or was losing money. So Jim Lee is admitting that almost a quarter of DC's entire publishing line was losing money. One has to wonder how much was actually breaking even and how much were actually making any money. But if you have a quarter of the line not making any money, that is not good. Former Marvel Comics writer Kelly Sue DeConnick was also honest about the state of the comic book industry in a 2019 interview. She said, "Boy, that's hard because from our perspective, the industry has contracted and we're very worried about comics right now. So it's always interesting to me that the outside perspective is always comics are booming." Later in the interview, DeConnick added, "I think I tend to be pretty optimistic, but in this one I'm worried. I'm straight worried because stores are closing at a phenomenal rate. Independent comic sales are down. Mainstream comic sales are down, except the top 3 or 5 books are up. Everything in the mid-list is way down. Numbers that used to be numbers that would get you canceled are now like, no, that's a hit. Independent books making back the cost of doing floppies is like names that should be able to do it, no sweat, are going into the red on singles and not coming out until the trades, and it worries me." So it's very clear that both Marvel and DC Comics are struggling right now when it comes to sales of their comic books, and Tom Taylor is a complete and utter liar, and he got exposed within 2 weeks. You can't make it up, folks. Those are my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you think. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics.